Second video then to go through some answers for you. Okay. I'll quickly go through each of those questions, and again, like I said, most of the quiz questions will come from this content, so you should be prepared. I still recommend reading through. It's only 5 pages, 6 pages of Bahamian landscapes, okay, just because they give you lots of examples of local wetlands, different types, okay. So you should have gone through any keywords you don't know. Please write out a definition. You should know, you should be able to find all of those. Then the first one was about describing the conditions necessary for coral reefs to be successful. All I've done here is I've just listed, these are the 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different limiting factors. They're sometimes called limiting factors because they can limit or control the success of coral reefs. I've given some examples of answers then, okay? So temperatures, no reef will develop where the average annual temperature of the water is below 18 degrees Celsius. The optimal range is between 23 and 25. This is in order for the algae and stuff to grow. Okay. Depth of the water. Most reefs are limited to the depth of water, or limited by the depth of water. Reefs cannot survive in water deeper than 25 meters as they need exposure to sunlight for photosynthesis. Alright, you can choose any of these for that correct answer. I just gave you some examples of 2. You should have notes about more than that. Compare the 3 types of coral reefs. Now I've just given a brief answer here, but there's lots of information. Again, I've included our examples. Alright, examples are always a good indication of your understanding of something. Alright, so fringe, barrier and atolls, they're 3 types of reefs, main types. We also looked at patch reefs and stuff like that. Okay. These are narrow platform of reef, okay, formed close to the coastline, only in shallow water. Only a shallow body of water separates them and the mainland. The barrier reef is a wide platform close to the ocean surface. It's not connected to the land, separated by deep water. Alright, so there's your differences, there's your comparison for those. And then you've got atolls at the bottom. Alright. Next then, describe the difference between coral bleaching and ocean acidification. Both very serious issues. Both affect coral reefs negatively, and both are getting worse and worse. But we are just asked about the difference between them. Okay, so again, I've gone in a step-by-step explanation of both. Okay, you should have these exact notes from the lesson about coral reefs. Okay, there's some key words in there. But what I've done is, again, short little sentences, nice and simple, step by step. Coral bleaching, the ocean's becoming too warm. The algae, xanthanol, today, can no longer survive in these temperatures and moves away or dies. The polyp has now lost its main source of food. The polyp dies and leaves just a white grey limestone skeleton behind. And that's where the term bleaching comes from, because it looks like the coral reef has just been bleached a kind of dull white grey colour. Okay, so again, ocean acidification is more to do with the pH levels in the water. Alright, and then as it becomes more acidic, this inhibits or slows or stops the ability of that limestone skeleton being made, and then the polyps die as well. Alright, so again, very clear, simple little step by step for those. Next one, describe 3 values of mangrove swamps to the Bahamas. I gave you one in the previous video. I've gone with 6, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You only asked for 3. Lots of stuff you can do here. Okay, and some of them are very, very simple. Alright, coastal defense is always a good one. Biodiversity, I'd always go with those 2. And then simple water quality, the materials we get from mangroves and so on. Alright. 2 to go. Discuss the different types of mangroves. Discuss is similar to explain. It wants a bit more information about each one. So I've put red and black mangroves as my main examples. I've white mangroves and buttonwood as my secondary examples. Alright, so again, have a little read through these answers. You'll see there's very clear differences stated. These are red in colour, these are black brown in colour. Okay, but then these stand in water and stilts. Alright, whereas these show clear examples of pneumatophores. What pneumatophores allow them to breathe. But then there's also some similarities between red and black. Okay, the mangroves thrive in areas which are underwater, and their leaves grow above the high tide level, exactly the same as the black mangrove. Alright, so they have similarities and differences. So if you're asked to discuss something, you can talk about both. not the same, where we're asked to describe the difference between coral bleaching and acidification. Alright, so be very careful about what the questions are asking you in exams. Final question to review then, using named examples. So when you see this, you have to include some named examples. Alright, describe the tidal creeks of the Bahamas. So again, plenty of short little sentences in here, each one containing kind of one feature or aspect about how the creeks develop, what they look like, and where they're found. One thing to remember is that they are not rivers. There's no rivers in the Bahamas. Alright, tidal creeks are usually salty and they're affected by the tide. So when the tide is low, there's usually very little to no water in the creeks. You could probably walk across the land. Then as the tide rises each day, it becomes flooded. Okay, so tidal creeks are areas of flat land that flood first. That's all it is really. They can also become passages between different keys. Alright, that's seen in Andros and Grand Bahama. We looked at some pictures of that. If you go back to our wetland lesson, find the video entitled Wetlands and you'll see those. I've given my examples then down the bottom. You can very easily start with your examples or include them in your answer. It doesn't matter as long as they're present. Alright, again, there's just a worksheet you can use to do a little bit of extra reading. Your hypersaline ponds. You've got page 86 to 92 of Bahamian landscapes and the videos from the coral reefs and the wetlands lesson. Okay, quiz tomorrow on wetlands. Very, very short, the same format as previously, multiple choice. I'll probably give you till about Thursday to get that done, which is loads of time. And remember, once you start the quiz, you've only got 45 minutes to finish. So don't be dilly-dallying.